This is cheaters. We're gonna go catch us a son bitch. There's a girl with...
I'm not cheating. I'm only balls
There's a
deep in
strange
her.
girl. There's a strange girl inside the truck with him.
Oh, shit.
What up?
Hi.
Great. Andy, nice to meet you.
O'Brien's, how do you describe like the sport, the biking sport that you're doing?
Right now, basically just stunt riding, bro. So just basically like stunt riding is what it's called right now. It's kind of like modern day skateboarding, kind of like rebels out doing our own thing and kind of hated on by like the public and the police and stuff. But
bro,
it's
y'all were
growing.
right next to me like not too long ago. I was trying to fucking film you
yeah, I've seen that.
with one hand. No, but that's cool. And you like the adrenaline you must get, dude. You hop on the bike.
Yeah, bro, it's just different, man. Like it's a different feeling. Like it honestly, it gets to a point where it's relaxing after a while. It's kind of my getaway, kind of.
So it's beyond a hobby, like for you. It's not.
Yeah, honestly, dude, bikes has become a big part of me, and it's like, it sounds cliche, but like honestly, it really is like a big part of me now. Like it's just my way to get away.
Now, one thing that like fascinates me is getting to the point where you can do this stuff. Like, how do you jump from like learning how to ride a bike to being able to like hop on it while you're going? How fast are you going on some of these stunts?
It really depends. Like I always try and go with the flow of traffic. Like if it was up to me, I'd be doing under 20 miles an hour, but it's just like we end up holding traffic up. So sometimes you catch yourself doing 50, 60 miles an hour. Like that's when it gets kind of sketchy. It's like
Pretty fucking fast.
it's pretty fast,
Yeah.
dude. It's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, so like like you can't mess up when you're like learning because
Yeah, it takes a lot,
expensive.
man. So like
I'd say that's the least.
Where
of
were
it.
your main? Where was the main place where you would go and practice there? Like you knew you would get some good practice rounds.
Yeah.
in
How
there.
do you
So-
level up?
Like, I'll just give you the backstory from the beginning. Like, when I graduated high school, I decided to stay here and I was going to UTEP for a while and I was working with my dad, but like, I was just bored, man. Like I said, I gotta be on the move or doing something. So, I came across this good deal on a bike I really wanted to get. And then,
What was it?
it was a R6 actually.
An R6? What is it?
It was a 2007 Yamaha R6.
Yamaha.
What's the size
and
of the engine on
It
that?
was a 600cc.
Okay.
So,
That's like mid-size, right?
yeah, it's like it's a good
Lower
mid-size.
yeah.
It really depends what you're doing.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like a good mid-size, and I really wanted to get it, but it didn't end up working out, and I ended up just going and financing like a brand new Suzuki. Like I was 18
shit.
years old. Like that was the first thing I financed. Like didn't know what I was getting myself into. Like I was like, nah, I just want a bike to look cool and like ride or whatever.
This is a little caveat. I used a student loan to buy my first bike.
Yeah. Well played, bro. Well played.
Hey, it's transportation.
Yeah, so like I mean, the bike scene back in 2015 in El Paso used to be huge. Like the bike like dealerships would throw like bike nights and like it would be popping. Like they'd have food trucks and all this stuff. And I remember going to my first bike night that I got invited to, and like I couldn't believe how many people were there. But then they had these guys that were stunting, and it was one guy in particular who's like actually a really good friend of mine now. His name's Nick. But I saw him doing some crazy stuff on the bike that I was like, bro, like, how is this even possible? Like,
Is he on Instagram? Shout him out.
yeah, his name's Sun City Stunts on Instagram.
that's what's up.
So like,
Sub Sun City Stunts.
yeah,
Great name.
Yeah,
his name's
Sun
Nick
City
Kilgore.
Stunts.
He's like El Paso's OG, bro. Like
Oh, hell yeah.
Nick Kilgore,
Nick
the
Kilgore.
running back from El
The
Dorado.
running back from El Dorado. That's the man.
He's stunned now.
He stunts, bro.
Fuck yeah, good for you, dog.
He's
His
been
highlights.
stunting.
He has a highlight reel on YouTube. It's stupendous.
There's a-
I like just my pants.
My friend, one of my friends, Michael, you met him before. They're on the clips, on one of those clips, he jumps over. That was him.
Oh, that was him.
He
He did like
clip.
a front flip or something.
He had jumped over him, and he's like, "Yeah, that was me."
Nick, yeah. So he's stunting. He got you on stunting.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so you're here. It's like your first kind of bike night, right? And you
Like, that's why I see this dude. Like, I didn't even go up and talk to him
Damn.
because that was my first time there, and all these dudes were like sitting there hitting him up, and I'm like, damn, bro, like this dude's like legit. Like, I'm not gonna go sit there and like be a little groupie and try and like hit him up or whatever. But like that's how I knew him. But then in 2015, like a lot of people started crashing, and it got like kind of real bad in the scene, and a lot of people started selling their bikes, and you know, I went to one of the bike nights, and like we broke off. I went home, and the next morning on one of the pages they're shouting out these 2 guys that got hurt really bad. One dude actually had to get his arm amputated and
I
stuff.
think you told me about him.
Yeah, so it was like it was just like I had to reconsider it, and I was like, you know what, is it really worth like doing all this go fast stuff? Because that's what they would do, is just haul ass like 120 miles an hour plus like through town.
Oh.
And that was the thing. That was the bike thing, is to like haul ass and just split cars and do all crazy stuff.
Did you ever do the Trans Mountain like fast as fuck?
Yeah, so it was all that. Like if you couldn't do Trans Mountain in like 6 minutes, like you were a bitch, and that was like basically that basically was the thing, right? So like me, I had never really had much riding experience, and like you get these dudes like, nah, bro, like you gotta haul ass, like that's how people were getting hurt. So it's like.
Wow.
I had to reconsider it, and I was like, what, screw this. I'm just gonna buy a dirt bike, like stay off of roads, like so traffic can't hit me, whatever. And then it just graduated to that, like, and I started riding dirt bikes and got real into it, and I wanted to start racing real bad, but it just like it's real expensive when you start racing with people. So one day, like I hadn't ridden my street bike in like 2 years, to be honest with you, and I needed to take it back to my shop to change a tire on it, and I was gonna get it inspected just to keep up with the registration and stuff. And one of my buddies was driving his car behind me, and I just threw up a wheelie. And I kind of learned how to wheelie from riding dirt bikes. Like that's kind of like the thing. Like when you have a car, everybody's like, when they see you in a car, they're like, do a burnout. It's like with the bike, it's like, yo, bro, do a wheelie. So just from riding dirt bikes, like you learn over time, like how to just kind of pick up your front wheel. And then when you're doing jumps and stuff, like it kind of grows on you. So I had done like this little wheelie. It wasn't even nothing special at all. And my buddy, name's Dylan, it's Rowdy50 on Instagram, but he recorded the video of me, and I posted it on my Facebook, and Nick Kilgore hit me up on Facebook, and like I had never spoken to the dude before in my life. Like I didn't even know we were even friends on Facebook. Like and he just hit me up and was like, hey bro, like we should get together and ride sometime. And I'm like mind blown, bro. Like, oh, like Nick Kilgore, like the god, right? The running back from El Dorado, like the stunt master from El Paso is asking me to ride with him. Like I can't say no.
Now you make me feel like a lame ass fanboy.
That's how I feel right now talking about it, bro. Like, nah, I'm just saying, like that's Nick. Like
That's cool. He played good ball.
He's a badass, bro. So like I was like, yeah, heck yeah, I'm gonna ride with you. And so like he kind of started to break down like the science behind stunt riding, and there's actually like a whole science behind it, and it's a lot safer than it seems. So a lot of people like that don't really know about it. Like I was even one of those people when I rode bikes. It like just seems like, yo, these dudes are wild and just like off the handle. But there's some science to it, bro. Like
What technique too? No.
yeah, there's some technique and some
I was
science
gonna
to
tell
it.
you, man.
about fighting.
Because I could tell, man, like when I shook your hand, bro, like you're fucking strong. Dude. Like you got that grip strength. Like me and Oscar, we grew up like around ATVs and Jeeps and like going up the Loma and shit, like all the time.
Right.
So we were around fast, pretty relatively fast things.
Yeah.
But it's just weird, like I never had the fucking like
Desire.
balls or even to be like, hey, I wonder about just go into oncoming traffic. Well, not oncoming traffic, but like go get on the freeway on my ATV.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think? Was that like, I'm not saying disconnect, but is there like a thing that kind of for you was like, you know what, like,
Fuck it.
let's go, like, or it was literally just that feeling, like, let's fucking get on.
You just overcome the fear of it.
Yeah, so like I guess it's just from like I said, my first real bike was a street bike. So
For sure.
so like I rode on, like the bike on the street. Like when I got to the dirt bike, it was kind of like, fuck it, bro. Like let's just take this shit on the
dirt,
street.
like,
Like,
it won't hurt as much as paved.
There's no
Yeah.
one around here most of the time, right?
yeah, so it was like, but it was like a mix. So then I would sometimes ride my dirt bike on the street and just do wheelies and stuff. And I'm just like, you know what, whatever. Like as long as I don't get hit by a car, like it's fair game.
Yeah.
And on the dirt bike, honestly, I get a little bit more ballsy because I can just jump curbs and just take off. So like. I mean, I don't condone running from the police at all, but like if I ever was in a situation back in
That's the perfect
and I
scenario.
had to, that would have been
I
what
mean,
it
you do ride
was.
around with a bike in the back of your truck, so
Yeah.
you're ready to go. You're like San Andreas. Like,
Yeah.
if you get stuck in the truck, you're gonna pull out the bike and take off in the bike.
For real, yeah.
Hey, I respect it.
That's how I feel about like our neighborhood. Like if we had to outrun the cops on our ATVs, I claim we could have done it.
Oh, the canals.
Oh,
and
we would have
everything.
like.
You're
gone.
so you're from El Dorado,
No, I went to high school at Chapin.
Chapin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to Chapin High School.
So you grew up in Northeast, yeah,
Northeast,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
I've been in the Northeast since I've been in El Paso. Like I'm originally from northern New Mexico, but
Okay.
Oh, really?
yeah. So I moved down here when I was 10, so it's kind of like basically half of my
Yeah,
life.
pretty sure.
Do you still have family down in New Mexico?
So basically, all my family is in New Mexico. The only family member I have here in El Paso that's actually blood family is my pops. So it's just me and my dad. We live together.
Oh yeah. Because you guys, tell us a little bit about the business you and your pops have.
Yeah, so we do water filtration, and that's actually like what brought me and my pops down to El Paso. Was he was supposed to originally come and get trained, and then go open up a branch in our hometown for like this water filtration business that one of his buddies owned, and he just kind of fell in love with the area here in El Paso, and there's just a lot more money and opportunity for that type of work with the military and everything, all the homes being built. So where we come from, it's like a lot of homes just passed down to generation to generation.
Oh, really?
Like typically people just live in their parents' house, and they just all kind of.
Yeah.
So there's not much new construction that goes on where we live. So the market was just better down here. So he kind of presented it to us. My parents were split up at the time, so he kind of presented it to us like, hey, I'm moving to El Paso. Whoever wants to come can come. And I'm the youngest of all my siblings, so they were already in high school, had all their friends and stuff, so they weren't up for the move. And I was just like, screw it, I'll try something.
Do you feel like
new.
it was a good decision?
Yeah, honestly, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my life's a lot better now than if I would have stayed. There's just like I said, a lot more opportunity up here. Down there, there's not much for the youth to do down there. And I moved right at 10 years old, so kiddie football where I'm from is not even a thing. So when I came down here and I was like, oh, for real, I can put on pads and play football with other kids, legit, I'm down. So it was just cool, a lot more opportunity and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Damn, that's crazy. Las Cruces, I don't think it differs much. Not Las Cruces, but New Mexico. I don't think it differs much from El Paso culturally. What do you think?
Going up towards Albuquerque, I would agree with you. It's all pretty much the same. You get more north, and it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more Spanish culture from Spain type stuff. But it's not nothing super crazy.
Oh, okay.
For the most part, it's about the same.
Yeah, I would always think there was some connection between
definitely.
El Paso, or not El Paso, but just this part of Texas and New Mexico.
Sure.
New Mexico.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty much the exact same, bro. For the most part, yeah.
How did your dad land that water filtration? So through this friend?
Yeah, that's how he started with his friend. It's a company called Purity Bay, and they make one specific type of water filtration system for homes, and that's what they do. Is just one system. They sell it to homeowners, and that's it.
How long does it take on a day to install that?
It depends on the home. On these newer homes, it'll take us maybe 3 to 4 hours to do a full install from start to finish.
Is that a water softener?
Yeah, basically a water softener, but it's a little bit more advanced.
I've gotten a lot of those.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is my dad was managing Purity Bay for El Paso. He moved up to completely manage Purity Bay here in El Paso, but a lot of other companies' customers would call us and ask us yo, can you fix our filter, or can you do this? So my dad actually opened up his own business that was more universal as a dealership, and that's called The Good Water Guy.
The Good Water Guy. This is your dad's.
Yeah, this is me. Name. This is me and my dad's.
Yeah,
thing.
that's cool.
Yeah.
The Good Water Guy.
And the name actually came up because we would go to people's houses and they'd have kids, and the kids would be like, "Hey, yo, the water guy is here."
The good water.
Yeah, so the good.
Hey,
since we filter water, he changed it and put the little good spin on it. So we're the good water guy.
That's crazy because you don't really think about it, but when we lived, my grandma and my grandpa are from Juarez. So yeah, the water was undrinkable, man. It was terrible. So when you say, "Oh, the good water guys," and then los del agua buena.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang, that's crazy. Yes. That's good, man.
So it just kind of stuck, and now that's what we run now. So we do pretty much anything water related. Now we're getting ready to start building pools and stuff. So we
you're gonna start into getting pools. Yeah, that's badass.
We do pool filtration, anything that you think of, the little water dispensers. We do that stuff. So
really,
yeah, we're pretty universal in what we do. So. Yeah.
You think that that Universal pays you well to have? Because I assume that it's expensive to have a hobby like riding bikes.
Yeah, bro, and that's the thing is people always ask me you probably make a lot of money, and I'm like, yeah, but we also run a business, so it's we spend a lot of money on the business itself,
Yeah.
But it pays. It's enough kind of keep up with my hobbies to a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't enough to keep me racing, but it's enough to keep me freaking stunting.
So you
like,
did
it's
try
okay.
racing for a while.
Yeah, I raced for a while. I did some track racing, but man, like it's so hard to keep up with some of those guys that I just
What do you think was the hardest part of it?
experience, like lack of experience
Yeah.
is honestly what it was, bro. Like I mean, desert racing is like completely night and day different than like the track racing stuff you see on TV. And out here in El Paso, like all we have is a desert, so it's like that's what I was used to, was just desert riding,
Yeah.
like flying, going fast. When you get to a track, it's so different. Like
Because they have like the curves and stuff.
yeah, and it's like the terrain is different. They actually
Yeah.
bring in nice dirt and like make it nice and sticky, and so
Yeah.
you get like these. They're called ruts. So like all these bikers will hit the same line, and it'll create like this huge rut, and that in itself is super difficult. When you're hitting these turns, like even on TV, it doesn't look like much, but there's these little like
Creases.
these ruts, yeah. And if you cross up or you get your front tire in one and your back tire in another, like you fall down, bro.
But you
And it's-
see
so it's
them
like a
wipe
rail.
out though.
Yeah, it's-
exactly there.
It's like a
Yeah.
rail. Huh?
Yeah, so it's like a rail. You got to hit it, like, you got to be right on your marks. And some dudes are just so good at it, man. Like, it's like second nature to them. They just hit these ruts and they just blast through these turns. And it's kind of hard,
What are we
man.
talking about?
Just,
His
just racing.
Yeah, his racing.
Like turning, but like specifically turning.
Racing,
or-
like dirt bike racing on the track.
How did
Is
it
this on?
feel to get air, dude? How the fuck did it feel? Like you're just coming up on the ramp and then whoo, you take off. I can almost feel it like in a roller coaster. Yeah.
It's intimidating, bro, because like you see the jump from kind of far away, and you can see the top. You can see the top of it, and it doesn't look intimidating. And you're like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna blast through this. I'm gonna
No
blast through this
shit.
jump. And you pull up to the face. Once you get right up to the face, it's like 3 times taller than it looks, bro. And like when you start to be
broke it off.
when you start to like first get into it, it scares you, bro. You roll off the throttle and you just let it down. Yeah, so it's kind of scary.
Ain't that more dangerous to like kind of approach it
Yeah,
slow?
yeah,
and that's what
it-
you were talking about earlier. That when you don't know, that's more dangerous. But when you do, you realize that people are over exaggerating.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So like that's how a lot of people get hurt, man. It's like a give and take. But yeah, it's definitely intimidating. It's something to get used to.
I bet,
so
dude.
so it's just like I said, lack of experience, man. Like so a lot of the guys out there, they've been racing since they were like 7. So you know they've seen these jumps for like 13 years, and here I am.
Oh,
like,
that's annoying. I mean, it's cool as fuck, but you ever been like like when you're learning, and then like this little like 10-year-old just
yes, bro, all the time.
just doing like awesome shit.
Yeah, and like when you go to the racetracks, they kind of break them up like into size groups. So they have like the big bikes and the little kids' bikes.
Yeah, the CCs.
Yeah, so you even see like there's jumps where like they're doubles or triples, and like you know I would barely double them, and you'd see this little kid on this little 65 freaking triple it, and it's just like, bro, like how?
Oh.
Yeah, so it's just crazy, man. The talent level is just like anything else.
Yeah.
It's just getting used to it, I guess. That adrenaline, because it's a high adrenaline rush.
Yeah, bro.
So getting used to that constant, just like kind of hyped mode, since you're young, allows you to do all those crazy
Yeah,
things.
for sure, bro.
That's exactly what you're talking about. How a pee-wee football that doesn't really exist over there, but over here, like it does.
Where?
Teaching. He lived in.
Espanola, New Mexico,
New
northern New
Mexico.
Mexico.
Oh, okay.
and
Well,
it's
it
a
was
little
just not
town,
enough
like,
people, or what?
No, not a lot of girls.
It's just a small town,
Yeah.
bro.
Did you
so-
say what?
Not a lot of girls.
Not a lot of girls.
Not a lot
That's
of
what he
girls.
said. That was the main thing.
That's what I heard.
That's the main thing you were pointing out, though.
Right, yeah.
He was like, we moved over here because there's not a lot of girls.
It was just you and your pops or what?
Yeah, it's just me and my pops that live.
That'd be
yeah.
a problem. I'd be like,
No,
hey, yo,
bro.
dad, what are we doing here, man? Hey,
Just
keep passing
teaching
it.
kids from a young age.
Tangent?
That teaching them
Hey.
competition and all that. That's good stuff.
I'm like, hey.
That's something that
I-
Hispanics really don't do much.
What?
Like rear kids into certain things. Or my dad did, but he would just kind of drop me off and then like dib like.
Yeah, dude, my dad too. Like, just
I'll be
growing
like,
up.
Dad, I'm doing this because you said it was like, you know.
Yeah. Well, my pops is.
I don't want to be here.
We were gonna
Jesus.
bond, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny though. My pops is like super old school. He grew up like on a hardcore ranch, so like from sun up to sundown, like you're out working all day.
Yeah.
So he still had. Nah, like so. Yeah, exactly. He
Well, you
still-
definitely picked up a lot of that, I think.
Yeah, and I'm real fortunate for it. Like I'm not scared to work, dude, and I always put work first. But like when we moved down here, it was the same way. Like he expected me to work with him like all the time, and it was like, yo, Dad, like, you know, they have football here. Like I really want to do something. Like I really want to do something for myself. So it was always like, all right, you go to practice, but be ready to work when you get back. So
Did you play football, or are you talking about like Pee Wee football?
yeah, I like Pee Wee football. I played football at Chapin for a couple years, and then it just everybody grew and I didn't. So I kind of
Yeah,
like.
I feel that. I was this height when I was in middle school, bro. Like practically,
Wow.
so I was like the tallest motherfucker
Tall,
around.
yeah.
And then like
Then you just stay
sophomore
there.
year,
You're like, all right, time to grow.
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be tall as fuck. Nah.
You got that. I don't even know if it's reverse Benjamin button. It's just you're like in the middle. You just
You
grew
got
and it just
stuck.
stayed
Just
there.
like extra
So you're
medium
gonna look
and
like
shit.
this for the rest of your life.
No, yeah, it was because I met you through wrestling, so
Oh, you were doing wrestling as well?
Yeah.
It's sick ass
Yeah.
wrestler. Yeah. Well, maybe not when I met you, but you're pretty alright by the time you had already been doing it a bit, no?
Yeah. And see, I started wrestling as a freshman, and I just basically got called out by a dude I would play Pee Wee football with, and he was a wrestler, and he was varsity when he was a freshman, and we were just talking shit on the sideline one day for football, and like, I don't even know what it was about. Like, I did something he didn't do or something, and I threw it at him, like, just joking. He's just like, well, football's not even my sport. Like, I want to see you try and be a varsity wrestler as a freshman. So I was like, all right. So, like,
Challenge accepted.
so I went to wrestling practice, and there was this little freaking tiny, like, almost, like, looked like a midget dude. His name was AJ. And I don't know what his Instagram name is right now.
No, you're not.
Yeah, but, like, this dude AJ, bro, he just...
No, fuck you, AJ.
I just remember walking up to this dude, and I was like, you know, they were like, all right, here's your partner, like, whatever, like, wrestle with them. We were doing live, and it was, like, my first time ever on a wrestling mat. I was in there, like, with socks and stuff, and I was like, all right, like...
the sock guy.
And I'm like, exactly, yeah. We all start somewhere, bro.
Yeah.
So I saw this dude, and I was like, dude, I'm going to tear this little kid up, right? And this dude was just straight jacking me up, like, the whole practice. Like, this little tiny midget kid, bro, was jacking me up. And only sport I ever really... I mean, I played a lot of sports in middle school, but, like, football was more, like, my main thing. And it was just, like, I had never really had anybody, like, manhandle me like that was smaller than me on the football field. So doing it on, like, wrestling mat, like, it was real aggravating for me.
Damn, that's crazy.
And so I was like, you know what? Like, I went home and I sat back and I, like, realized it. And I was like, you know what? Like, these wrestlers are legit, bro. Like, they don't play around.
Yeah.
So,
Bro, I think that's a lot of like wrestlers' story, right? You're like,
Yeah.
you go in there a little cocky and then you get your fucking ass beat.
yeah. And so, like, it had never happened to me like that before. So I took it as motivation, bro. I really was just like, you know what? Like, I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to be, like...
Yeah. No, it was cool. I was with I was at another school. We like to say rival, but they kicked our ass and everything. And there was I don't even remember how I met the coach I was under for the city league kind of deal
Okay.
instead of the school, and he would host practice after another school's practice at another school. So I don't even know how we both ended up going
Yeah,
there.
I don't know. So basically, he was like a club coach that used Andrus's wrestling room after like Andrus was done practicing. They would let him use the wrestling room, and so he would sit there and just really he would do it for free, just for the love of the sport, like help anybody who wanted extra work.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And he always had like, a gang of 3 to 5, 7 kids, On a good day it was like more than 5, but usually it was like 3,
small
4,
group,
or 5
yeah.
of us. And I always felt like he never got the respect he deserved because he was kind of like he's like a big old dude and he's
He's
definitely
real
not
quiet.
Yeah, he's definitely not showing you how to do the things, but he like tells you what to like.
Smart too.
Yeah.
Like, he's like a Mr. Miyagi type, like real quiet, like real quiet to himself, but like knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and then it's funny, because they all he has a few brothers and they all kind of look the
They all
same.
kind of look the same.
Really?
Yeah, they all kind of talk the same.
Like,
and like
short, round Mexican dudes, but like Chicanos, English
Yeah.
mostly.
Sounds like a sitcom.
yeah, no, basically, bro, it pretty much could have been.
Directed by George Lopez.
Bro, and they grew up in like, just kind of they just go to like, they do kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but like brute force movements, like just like dumb strength, like retard strength stuff. And you just do it for hours, and he would just like make his warm up was like terrible, and because I wrestled at some other places where they were a little bit more structured, I want to say, like with their training, and they get good results. But I feel like for like as far as like the the small team that he had and the amount of like O'Brien, did you win state once or twice?
Twice.
Oh, come on. Like that's I want to say it's a pretty like big deal in wrestling. Like
Yeah, hell yeah.
like you just
Going
it's-
state in anything is pretty damn
it's
good.
really hard to do.
Yeah.
And he always consistently. I think me and Matthew, his nephew, were like the first in a long time of a lineage that didn't go to state. Because we'd be fucking getting high and just chilling.
Oh.
Nah, I mean I don't know. I think we started a little. Well, I started a little late. Fucking Matt don't have an excuse. But
Yeah, Matt does not have an excuse.
yeah. but he's just his output for like good wrestlers was pretty good. But I felt like like the other coaches were just like, oh yeah, it's just that old guy.
Yeah, no, like he definitely knew like what he was talking about when it came to certain like techniques and but like again he was real quiet and to himself. So if people would go in there and kind of just start jacking around, he would just be like, all right, whatever. So like it was kind of like he was there to help the people that wanted to get better. And I think that's why like his wrestlers were always so good is because part of it was
They
like
actually wanted to be
themselves.
there.
They wanted to be there and he
Yeah.
helped them. Like
It's I mean
Yeah,
it's
that
always
makes
good
sense.
to get extra reps, get a little bit extra because a lot of the other guys aren't doing it. So I mean you already have a little bit more time into it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
badass. That's
Nah,
super
dude,
cool of him.
but like I'm very fortunate. Like I mean that's pretty much where I met Juan and freaking. You know I've learned so much from Juan. He like I said he was a lot older than me when I was coming in. So I was a freshman and he used to always just beat me up. Him and Matthew like.
Matthew was mean.
Yeah, Matthew was mean. Like he honestly, as a sophomore, he started my cauliflower ear by just laying on top of me like I'm a 120-pound kid, like just laying on top of me where I couldn't move and just rubbing my ears and like
just bullying you,
just
bro.
bullying you, bro. He's just like this big, like really fast moving, like 200-pound dude.
Bro, this guy like he's a little
Listen.
chonchito, but he moves like
Yeah,
a
Oscar's
fucking
pretty-
yeah. He's crazy athletic. When I met Oscar, I was like, that dude reminds me of Matthew. Just
Yeah.
this dude would pick people up, bro, just like with one arm and like
Oh, no
carry
shit.
them around and then like
Yeah.
put them down gently. Like
And the bad part about Matthew is he's a little asshole, but like he knew kind of what he was doing as far as wrestling. So he's a big dude that's an asshole that knows how to wrestle. So he made like the perfect bully. Like
Oh no.
he would
Yeah.
flip people, bro, like Greco style, you know, like he
So
really
did he do good like in state and all of that?
he didn't go to state, and I think because he liked partying too much, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, so he was never really 100% when he'd go to matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I mean he went all out in matches, but I think he
I
just,
just
didn't
don't
get
think
the
it was.
training in.
Yeah, it was part of the training, and like I don't know. I feel like his whole family did it, so he kind of had
Yeah.
a different drive for it.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
kind of like he did it, like 'cause
It's
that's
crazy
what everybody
how it
did.
can sway
yeah.
either way. Like,
Yeah.
if none of your family had done it, like, oh, I'm gonna do it because nobody has done it, and then,
Yeah, I mean,
oh, I'm not gonna do it because everybody's done it.
yeah,
God,
right.
that's- holy shit.
Yeah, no, he was really good, but I think definitely that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And no, yeah,
Dang. Well, I'm pretty sure that's why Juan has you here, because we want to talk a little bit more about your bike riding and how it feels to fucking pop wheelies in the freeway. That's every time I see a guy
scary.
doing that, I'm like, what the fuck, like.
Dude, in one of his videos, he put that he took a dump 5 minutes after the video or something like that.
Wait,
I read that like 5 times. Like, excuse me, what does taking a dump mean on a bike? It can't be a good thing.
Yeah, nah, like, I mean, fortunately, knock on wood, I haven't had too many crashes on the street. A lot of my worst crashes have been on the dirt bike, but I've definitely crashed a couple of times on the street, and it was a lot of time mechanical error more than anything.
Oh, shit.
So,
what do you say about like the bike?
yeah, so, like, what happens is, like, you see dudes standing on their seat and, like, jumping around. Majority of the time, like, unless they're, like, super badass, they have, like, a handbrake. So we do, like, a custom bracket in the rear for your back rotor, and we run its own brake system to have a handbrake up here by your clutch. So you got a clutch and a handbrake on the same
shit.
left
It's a
side.
dual clutch.
No, it's
Yeah,
like
dual
it's one
lever?
clutch, it's dual lever, but you make room for a whole nother brake lever so you can have a back brake. And moral of the story is you start to rock the wheelie too far back and your brake is there to save you, to bring you forward. And so that's basically like the safety behind a lot of the tricks.
That back brake.
That back brake, yeah. So like when you're sitting down, like obviously most motorcycles, they have the back brake on their foot. So like you can do what's called foot brake, which is just the basic like OG style of doing wheelies is you use your back brake to bring you down. And it's basically like a safety net. So you start to rock your wheelie too far back or you get a little sketchy, you always just press your brake and it kind of saves you. But yeah, mechanical error just one time was real bad. It was on the east side on the gateway right there where like that new KFC is between like Edgemere and like Pebble Hills or something like that. like
Yeah,
right there on
yeah.
the 601.
Yeah.
It was honestly like in the middle of the workday too. I got in so much trouble from my dad because I crashed right there. Cause all of our work vehicles were out in different parts of the town, and like my pops forgot a fitting, so I had to take it to him. And the only thing I had that I rode to work on was my stunt bike. So I was like, "Fuck it, like I'll haul ass on my stunt bike."
Get a little stunt right in. Get a little stunt in.
So I hauled ass, dropped him off the fitting, but on my way back, I was like, "Dude, this is a nice like the gateways are the best, bro. Like there's very little traffic, and like they're usually smooth." So I clutched up a mean sit down. So sit down, you're doing foot brake, right? And like you have two different brakes. You have a foot brake and a hand brake. So I'm sitting there just doing a sit down wheelie is just like a traditional riding position, like clutch it up like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there just doing wheelie. So I'm like, all right, bro, like now I'm gonna jump to seat stander. So I literally jump up and I jump to seat stander and I rock the bike back to slow the wheelie down. Because I mean, that's how you slow wheelies down. You like take them way past like regular balance point. And I rocked it all the way back and I went and I grabbed my brake. And there was no brake. Like,
Oh shit.
I'm like, I don't know what happened to my back brake. Like, it was just gone. Like, it just wasn't there. So I freaking grabbed the brake, and there was nothing there. So it just went all the way back to my 12 bar. And so I'm sitting there scraping, and I'm just trying to scrape it out because I already knew like I was going down. And I was just. The good thing is though is when you're scraping, the bike is slowing down. So like I was sitting there like trying my hardest just to try and ride out the scrape like as far as I could.
Yeah,
but
slow it down as much as you can before the putazo.
yeah,
It's coming
exactly, bro. So I mean, unfortunately, it didn't go very long because when you start scraping, like the bike gets super like wants to go left, right, and all over the place. So
And what you're moving the handlebars, but it's not really doing much because it's the bottom.
yeah, and then part of it, like I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you know like you're gonna crash and like you start to black out and like you just like you start to black out and you're like
fuck it.
yeah, like you freeze and you're just like fuck. That basically what was happening when I grabbed the brake and I grabbed it twice and it wasn't there. I just kind of like froze and was like, all right, like we're going down. So I just scraped it out, and luckily, like I mean, I just let the bike kind of just toss itself. And I honestly, my a buddy of mine was actually there. His name is Kevin, but like he saw the whole thing and he's like, bro, you were straight like body surfing your freaking bike because I felt the bike go sideways, so I just dipped it and I rolled on top of my bike so I could let the bike like take all the road rash. So the bike just slid and I was just kind of just on top of the bike. And then when it came probably like 5 miles an hour is when I tried to bail off, and literally the only thing that happened to me is I scraped my knee a little bit, but like
Oh shit.
yeah, like for the most part the bike took all of
That's crazy. You were able to control it like that.
It's
yeah,
like surfing
To
almost.
only get a knee
Yes.
scrape. That's
So-
pretty sick.
I wanted to ask that. Like, that's probably a stupid question, but how do those guys like take the knee? You know, you see those pictures of like guys that take those tight turns and have a knee on the ground.
Oh, that's like for racing.
Is that
right?
like a?
Yeah.
Do they have like a
they
special
have a,
knee
like a
cap or
knee
something?
cap or
Yeah, so they're called pucks. They got little knee
Okay.
pucks on their little on their
Do you think they were just going bare every time?
I don't know.
Just yelling at
'Cause it's
every
so-
turn.
I swear when I would see those pictures, it was like completely smooth. It was like no, like there was no knee pad or anything. I was like, are they just going like bare knee on it?
Well, I mean, honestly, it depends
calluses?
what the dude's wearing, but like most of the time, like the dudes that ride the track stuff, like if they're wearing like legit leathers, they got knee braces, they got neck braces, and like they got pucks, like so they're meant for that. If you're dragging your knee, it's legit called like a move, like a knee drag. If you're dragging your knee in a corner, they got pucks there. They even got pucks on the elbows. Dudes will elbow
Oh,
drag.
that's true.
So
Have you ever done any of that
They're
stuff?
like hockey pucks, right? Like same. They look similar.
I haven't road raced yet, but like
Hell yeah.
Back in the day, we used to take trips up to like Cloudcroft and stuff, and I used to dip the bike pretty deep, man. So, and dirt bike riding, because of like the ruts that form and stuff, you could even drag your handlebars in the dirt, and I've done a few of those.
That's how
fucking
deep
crazy,
you go
bro.
into it.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's crazy.
God.
Yeah,
I've always ridden an upright bike, so the moment you go like even 45, you're like
Yeah.
feeling
Going
like you're
down.
gonna eat shit. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, I mean, but in the dirt though, it's got like these ruts that kind of help you. Like he mentioned, it was like a rail. That's exactly what it is. Like once you kind of get locked in the rut, like you
just
just gotta
follow it.
you just gotta throttle it out,
Yeah.
bro. Like across like riding in general, there's that saying like when in doubt, throttle out. Just the bike saves itself majority of the time.
No
so.
shit.
Like to straighten back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you'll even watch some stunt videos like the fails where dudes will like the bike will get kind of twitchy and they'll jump off and they'll fall and then the bike will straighten itself up and just take off on
I was about
itself.
to ask
keep
that.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happened to me on a jet ski.
It's balanced. That's how it's made, right? Like
happened
it's
to Urban.
balanced.
It happened to
Yeah,
Urban
like
one time.
like there's physics behind it, bro. Like the forces of the motor, like turning that tire, will keep it straight like all the time. So like the bike stays straight.
So it doesn't matter if you modify it.
Yeah, I think you have to take it into
If you
consideration.
modify it, like, do you have to like? Well, yeah, like. Juan was
But
saying,
like
take into
depends on the mod,
consideration.
right?
Yeah, it depends on what it is all the time. But for the most part, like any bike, like as long as it's got throttle and it's got force pulling it in a certain direction, like it'll most likely always go straight. So, or it'll go at whatever pace it's going. So, like that's part of the wheelies that people don't understand is they're like, dude, why don't you? What if you fall left or fall right? Majority of the time, like if you're on the gas doing like. It's called balance point, but under balance point, like the bike will keep itself straight. Like it's hard for the bike to go left or right, but like there is a point where if you go past balance point, then that's when the bike kind of like will go left and right. And that's why I was mentioning like when you're scraping, the bike wants to go everywhere because it no longer has that force pulling it forward to keep it straight. Because now it's like
Up as well.
it's up, yeah, it's up as
And then
well.
it's hitting the back, so I mean, it's pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
Is
exactly.
every bike's balance point
So crazy.
slightly different?
Yes, and it really is. So like some bikes are way more like sought after for becoming stunt bikes because they have lower balance points than other bikes, and some just have like really horrible balance points. So it just
So
like,
there's
every
some
bike is different.
notoriously terrible like bikes that were aimed at an audience, at like a stunt audience, and then they sucked.
No, actually, there's yet to be a bike designed for stunt riders. Like,
Oh, okay.
none of like the bike companies are like, you know what, we're gonna build this bike for a
So
stunt
that
rider.
you could do this.
They don't condone that behavior.
Yeah,
No,
and actually, they're all designed to be the quite opposite. So, like, now that these
The
bikes are
safest
getting
possible.
faster and stuff, with more power, like, you get guys who are racing when they come out of corners that they throttle, the bike wants to pick itself up on a wheelie just from all the power. So, they're actually designed to be opposite of a wheelie bike. So, they try and make all the aerodynamics down. They try and put the engine weight and everything kind of to keep that front wheel down. So, yeah, we're definitely in our own little niche of a world to try and force these bikes to do stuff they're not designed to do. So
Some older bikes are probably more desirable than
yeah,
for the same
exactly.
reason.
And so like my stunt bike is they made it in 2000 from 2000 to 2006. So like the bike I ride right now is a 2006 model. My first stunt bike I had was a 2002, and you know they're like going on 20 years old now. So
Yeah.
and they're still like the most sought after stunt bikes.
What is it?
It's a Honda. It's a F4i is what it's called. It's a
F4i?
F4i 600. It's a 600 cc.
And 600, you kind of stayed at that size for the weight.
Yeah, for stunting, it's a lot more mellow. Like once you get into bigger bikes, like 1,000 cc's and bigger, like they're a little bit heavier, and like I said, they're more designed to stay kind of down.
For speed, maybe.
For speed, and then the motor's bigger. Everything, the geometry of the whole bike changes. Like especially on dirt bikes, like going from the 250s to the 450s, they're the exact same bike on the exact same chassis. You put them on a scale, and they weigh almost the exact same. But it's actually the geometry of the way the bike, like the motor moves and the way it pulls, makes the bike feel like 100 times heavier. It's like the weirdest thing. And so when you ride a 450, it wears you out, bro. Like you get super tired. It's hard to lean it in the corners. It's hard to jump them and make transitions in the air and stuff. Like, and you go to a 250 and like I can ride a 250 all day and like not get tired. It's just like something about the geometry of the bike makes it so much easier to like ride. And it's the same thing with stunt bikes and street bikes. Like the 600s, they're more light. Like the frames are a lot different than the 1000s, and the chassis are a lot lighter than the 1000s. But even the motor itself, the way it pulls and stuff, is different. But once you get to a certain point, bro, you can stunt anything. It's just 600s are a lot cheaper. There's a lot more parts for them, and just in general. Like,
Yeah, I understand that because of mostly because of my brother that does the car stuff. You know.
yeah.
I do car stuff, but he's into like, kind of like the. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
the racing, drifting, all that stuff.
Yeah, like Japanese imports.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fast
Wait.
and Furious type stuff.
Yeah. Which I like them. I like machines, but I'm not like a particular camp of anything.
You're not. Yeah. You just. Do you like cars just in
Yeah,
general?
I like the engineering and like the fact that
Like
we
Tesla
create them.
kinda
Yeah.
deal.
Tesla's sick, but I also like old school 454 big blocks and then
Yeah, nice.
and then my brother's Evo 10 is fucking sick. So
Yeah,
I think
the
as long
final edition.
I know, right? As long as it's a mean machine, I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate a good
I never knew
vehicle.
this much about bikes.
Yeah, I know, right? This is gonna be also
We
a
should do a video
tutorial.
Like, where we should
Instructional.
we should watch like famous movies about bikes and break it down.
like it's
That'd
Like
be cool.
Biker Boys. I remember when I saw Biker Boys. That kind
Is that
of
like the rite of passage movie?
No, I don't know. Have you seen the movie?
yeah,
Okay,
Biker
he
Boys.
does
Yeah, I know what you're
Lawrence
talking about.
Fishburne. I can't remember who's Tyrese. Is Tyrese in it?
I don't think Tyrese is, but
Yeah.
Megan Good and
It was making me.
It was a weird.
It's like a cult movie, right?
That
Like,
movie came out after Fast
Fast and Furious.
'cause
It's
they
just
did
basically like Fast and
They
Furious,
did the
but
same
for bikes.
They did the
yeah.
same thing. They did the train thing. Like they try to beat the train.
Yeah, like
because there's one
and-
for like longboarding. I got into longboarding in college,
okay.
and then
there's a whole movie for longboarding.
Oh, was it the Lords
No.
of Dogtown?
yeah. It's that
Lords
one.
of Dogtown.
I think
Yeah,
I never
I've
watched
seen that
it,
movie.
but
Looks good.
when you were talking about like knowing when you're gonna fucking just take a dive, I remember just getting that. You know, you're going down a hill and you're hitting. You could hit up to like 40 miles an hour on.
You start getting the
on a
little
fucking-
death wobble things on the
Oh,
board.
bro, and you know you're going down, and I fucked myself up so much. I don't know how I kept doing it.
Yeah.
After like
I've never liked that though. I've never liked like bombing hills, but I did like skating.
Bro, the problem was I didn't either, but my homie who was my roommate at the time, he was doing it a lot. And I would do it when I would get a chance to like go and hang out with them. And so he would just be like, all right, let's go. And then we'd like be chilling and then we'd get to a hill. And then he's like, all right, y'all ready? He put his helmet on and I was like, ready for what? Then he just, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'm already fucking here. And then I go and just eat shit,
Ain't no
bro.
bitch.
Bad. Yeah.
Oh no.
Damn, bro.
Once
that
I like
shit's
scrape,
gnarly.
yeah, like all my back. You know, you get road, rash too.
Yeah.
Rosita.
And I remember
Rash is
the,
worst,
yeah,
bro.
dude. I remember the pucks because they have gloves for pucks with pucks on
Yeah,
the
so-
palms,
Oh,
so you
gotcha.
can like
Kind of brace yourself, or
well to you like
Slide.
yeah, to slide.
Oh,
I forget
shit.
what they call it, but yeah, it's like a way to
Like,
to slow down and it's like to turn and
Yeah,
it's like
the-
drifting for.
Yeah, because some dudes with a longboard, like they'll get real low and put their hand on the ground, and like when they're
Oh,
turning
they'll
corners,
turn-
they'll
yeah,
use it
yeah.
to keep their balance or whatever. So
Yeah, I never was able to do that.
did you go like the curves and everything?
I took some. You know what? Like I'm making myself out to seem like pretty bad at it, and I am. But I definitely like have some successes.
Some
That's
sex.
Yeah, but I remember UT at the University in Austin. There's a huge hill, and I took it. I would look at it, and I would like walk halfway down and then take it or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And I took it from the top once. And I remember just I'm gonna eat shit, and I tried to make the turn, and I was like this close, bro. Similar to what you were saying, like you gotta kind of lean into it because if you don't, you're just gonna lose your balance more. You're gonna fall back and you're gonna fall out.
Right.
And so I know if I would have just not been a pussy and stepped forward a little bit, I would have been fine. But I didn't, and I just fucking rolled out.
Oh,
and then a bunch of
shit.
people came out and like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I meant to do
Yeah,
that."
but you went for it.
you gotta, yeah, you gotta play it off.
You're like, ah,
when you're holding your breath, you can't breathe.
Just making sure I take it.
I'm good. I'm all right.
Totally adrenaline wears off. Dude, that happened to me. That's so funny that you bring that up because you say your friend basically put you on the spot. Like he put you on the top of the hill. You're like, "Hey, güey, le vas o te culeas?" right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That happened to me when we went trail riding. They're like, "Hey, let's go
With bikes?
like, on the mountain bikes."
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a fucking qual away, so like I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's go get mountain bikes." I'm like, "Babe, I don't have a mountain bike." I said, I'm gonna go to Walmart and buy one of those
About a mongoose.
fucking, what are they called? Mountain something
Mongoose.
trails or whatever. Nah, I wish it was a mongoose. Nah, it was like a mountain trail. Like it
Like
cost
a
me
Huffy?
like it cost me like $100. Like,
Is that a Huffy
super
boy?
fucking. And then like I
Huffy.
show up right, and these guys have these nice ass bikes.
They're like
they're like
7 pounds.
assembling them.
Yeah,
And I'm just
bro.
like,
Mountain
yeah,
bikes
I got
are
my
heavier,
fucking- I got my mountain trail. And then they're like, and they looked at me and they're like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "All right, you're gonna go on that?" I was like, "Let's do it, man. What's the problem?" I'm thinking it's like a small trail,
Bro, that's
We're
a
like-
whole. There's a whole world for a
And
mountain
this is
bike.
in the
I know,
Midwest. This is
dude.
in the Midwest. I'm from the desert, right? So then we go into it goes like a park, but there's like some woods in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can't really see a lot of hills, but I mean, it's a fucking woods. There's how much hills can there be? Nah, man, we get there and there's like a whole like intricate trail, and I'm like, oh, some of these hills are pretty fucking
Steep.
hard, bro. And you know, like when you get those shitty gear bikes, the gears slip.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh,
falling
yeah.
behind. I'm not even going as fast as I'm supposed to. Finally, we get to this huge drop. And then
Oh,
they're like,
bro, you got
and I
these little freaking
I
breaks.
just see these people like
No breaks.
like go up, and I'm like, all right, come on, Grace, your turn. I'm like, oh fuck this, dude. I literally got halfway, and I started feeling how fast we were going, and I bailed. And then they're like, don't fucking be a pussy or whatever, because like it's not just my coworkers, it's like my supervisors, like higher ranking people.
So,
I'm like,
and your
so I'm looking like a
supervisor did
bitch.
it?
Yeah, I'm looking like a bitch
You're
in front
trying
of
to
like
get a
my bosses.
promotion on the bike.
I'm looking like a bitch in front of my bosses. I'm like, fuck, I gotta do this. So then like I get a little bit higher than I used to be, and I'm hauling ass. I feel like the wind like
Smacking your
in my
feet,
ear.
bro.
I'm like, and all I have to do is make a turn and like, you know, it should be having enough momentum to just get to the rest of the way. And there's a tree. And as soon as I'm like turning, I see the tree, and for some reason I'm like, I'm not turning this way. So I go head into the tree, and like you have that moment where you're like, hey, you gotta commit. And I like threw my shoulder into like I'm trying to tackle the tree down.
tackle the tree
A
down.
tree this wide.
Took that advice too literal.
You gotta
And
take
I'm like, here we go. Just boom, bounce back, and like,
Bro,
yeah.
it's funny because that's an actual thing in writing. They call it object fixation. So like dudes will be hitting turns or whatever, and they'll like see something like a fire hydrant or
And
like
go to it,
a
right?
tree or light pole, and they get that oh shit feeling, like I'm kind of going a little bit too fast in this turn, and they'll stare at something and they'll lock eyes on it, and your body will take you to that spot. So like,
It's true.
So it's a
Look at
real
where you're
thing.
going.
yeah, so it's a real thing. It's called object
You're like, I'm
object
normal.
fixation.
You could have missed it.
If you,
Yeah, I know. My
you have
eyes
to
were
keep-
like, let's hit it.
yeah, bro.
Like a fly to a.
Nah,
fucking
but it
light.
happens to everybody, bro. But that
Okay,
I know
that's
exactly what you're
scary.
talking about.
Yeah, that's never happened to me.
You
Not to
this guy has had some
everybody.
crazy. Remember that time that you broke the bike, my Theo's bike? It was a 450 quad.
That's a low blow,
and he was
bro.
doing
Come
like a
on.
fucking grind. A grind. I'm sorry. No, you were doing like a drift, and then like the
It's
fucking
because the quad. The
it
quad,
broke.
No.
The steering brake it broke.
Let's hear it. Let's
The
hear
quad
it. What happened?
is square, like square as fuck. You know, some of them are like wide, so low to the earth, so you're able to do some, you know, some
Donuts.
donuts.
Yeah.
This
Flipped
one
over
was like
now.
high. It was tall.
Like a
and it was
hunting
square.
quad?
The what? I'm
There's
sorry?
like a hunting quad, like
It
like-
looked like a hunting quad, but it had the aspect of a raptor.
Oh,
like
got
it was
you.
like a raptor,
It's an
but
Arctic
it was
cat.
like a,
But
it
did it
was
have,
weird.
did it have a cage on the back?
Arctic cat.
No, it didn't.
It broke
It was
though.
a knockoff brand.
Yeah.
It broke because I hit a little thing. So first off, it didn't even do the donut. It was so
Like
sharp.
a half moon.
It was like sharp, and then it hit something, and then twisted my wrist.
Did it break?
shit.
Nah,
You did
Bro.
a front flip with the bike.
I can't even remember.
Bro,
that's
like-
another
It wa-
story.
it was
It's not the
super-
same story.
Oh, okay, you think of a different story.
That's a whole different story.
Bro,
we saw those
I
things-
swear, big athletic guys like you could get like round. You could fall from a building and be
I don't know,
alright.
just get up and
That
dust,
dude that-
dust their shoulder off.
That dude that we
bro.
both knew, the one I was saying that your athleticism reminded me of, he got hit in a Ford Explorer, the smaller ones, and he rolled like 6 times, bro. What?
And
And
he
then,
just gets out.
yeah, and that dude just gets out and calls me, bro. Everyone else is fucked, and he's like, "Oh, dude, my back."
Bro,
I'm like,
for real.
"Are you
Superman
alive,
and
bro?"
shit.
Yeah, no, you fucking could take a hit. But and then on your story, bro, the same exact thing happened to me. I had a roommate that was deaf, and I don't know why that's conducted to the story, but
He was deaf. I just wanted to know.
but he was an avid mountain biker. So the dude, he lived up in Scotland, and I guess it's big over there.
Okay.
And so he would do like, you know, he had a nice bike and crazy. He was into it, kind of like how you're into what do you call it? Stunting.
Stunt.
And
Just
then,
riding bikes,
Riding,
yeah.
yeah. And so he's asking me if I know how to ride a mountain bike, and I was like, yeah. Who doesn't know how to ride a bike? It's the same
He
shit,
gets a
dude.
bicycle, yeah.
And
bro.
I remember we took a trip to like Tasmania down in southern Australia, and it's known for its mountains, you know, whatever. So there's a bunch of people who are into mountain biking out there.
That's sick.
Yeah, and so we go up there, and he's like, "Yeah, let's rent some bikes," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm still thinking the same thing
Right,
you're
it's a
thinking,
bike,
right?"
yeah.
And then I was like, "This is gonna be a nice little stroll through nature." And we go up there, dude, and some dude drives us up the mountain. So I was like, "Oh, we're going higher." Yeah, bro. And then as soon as he drops us off, he's like, "All right, cool. So you guys know the route. You're gonna bring the bikes back." And then I was like, yeah, for sure. Seems easy enough. And then he's like, you ready? And I'm like, yeah. And then he takes his thing off because he was wanting flying all
hearing
over.
aid?
Yeah, so he's like deaf now. And he takes off, bro, and just disappears into the distance. And I'm like, holy shit, that's fast. He's
Dude
gone.
was movie, yeah.
Bro, and I get on there and say thing, dude. The fucking things start going. They start smacking my feet. I'm going, losing my... And like, it must have been 10 seconds, maybe, before I just eat shit, just fucking roll.
Yeah,
and you know what? Because of... There's my...
It's so weird, man.
In the middle of the story.
I know, dude. That's my
Damn it,
bedtime
Dale.
alarm.
Your alarm, yeah, I thought me. What time is it?
Yeah, I don't know how to say that.
It's
9:30.
Oh, is it 9:30?
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
You tell us whenever
my
you're
phone was
ready, brother.
backwards.
No, you're good, man. Like, I mean, I'm good for a little while. I don't know how long you guys usually do this stuff, but I'm good for a
Nah.
little
I
bit.
can go on for hours. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it can.
Dang.
It can.
Yeah.
No, that's as long as you
Yeah.
We've been gone for about an hour. Like,
Yeah.
we could close out pretty soon. But
we
I
just
need to
like
finish my
to
story.
talk about.
Yeah,
No, finish it. I wanna know what happened.
no,
I
dude.
really
I
just wanted to hear the end of the
I
story.
had to turn it off because it's crapping out on me.
Oh, okay.
So my lady's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" No, yeah. So
You
then
can stay here.
All right. No, yeah, dude. I ate shit bad, and then I get back on, and I'm thinking like that must have been like like I
A rough area.
yeah, I got this. So I hop back on, bro, and the same shit happens, and the same
Yeah.
I said,
Oh my god.
You don't touch the way.
I'm gone, bro, and I'm calling.
He's at the bottom of the mountain.
I'm over here calling him. Dude's deaf.
¿Cómo, güey? No te va a ir.
Nah, dude, and then so
Dude, you got no help.
yeah, bro. And I first ate shit in like the open, but then I get back on thinking that just must have been a little slip up. And now the trees start, and same thing as you, bro. I'm going, and then I see a tree that I don't think I'm gonna be able to miss. And I'm like, oh shit! And I just dive off the bike, and then I hit the GoPro. I had a GoPro, and I hit it off, and I rolled again. And you know what? If it wasn't for like the wrestling and jiu-jitsu and like learning how to roll
And fall, yeah.
so much, I probably would have broke my wrist or something.
Bro, and I think that helps me out so much with some of my like riding and dirt bike stuff too. It's kind of knowing how to fall and tuck and roll and trying to eat up some of that energy,
Instead
bro.
of
Like,
scorpioning.
yeah, it's trying to stop yourself. Like a
You
lot of people.
won't.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way. 'Cause like we go back to the big athletic guy. It's kind of hard to stop when I'm already going. So I've just learned to brace because it's coming. Yeah, for sure.
No, yeah, dude. I probably fell like 20 plus times in this, and you know what?
The whole trail.
Bro.
So you fell down the mountain, basically.
So then once you get to the
Bro, I
bottom,
just think of like hot rod when he's like falling down.
so when you finally make it to the bottom,
Hold on. So
There's more?
Hold on. So I followed maybe like twice or 3 times, and I'm just like walking down with my bike, right? And the dude's waiting for me. His name's Chris, and he's like, piss off, mate. What the fuck? He's like, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, yeah, dude, this shit's, I don't know. I didn't know this is what I signed up for.
Yeah, bro.
And then it mellowed out because the mountain was really steep for like the first 5 falls. And then the vegetation changes and then it's cool. And then it gets to like a slippery, moist region, so that was fun, right? And then and then finally like the lower part of the trail is like it's been like made by people. It's it's like
made,
yeah, to get you to get some really nice. And by that time, I had
Started to get
picked it
comfortable
up.
with the
Yeah, I
bike,
had
yeah.
picked it up a bit. And he commended me for like falling as much as I did
And keep going.
and getting back on the bike. And I was like, yeah, we'll see what my wrist has to say about it tomorrow, bro.
Oh,
Were you
shit.
fucking hurting the next day?
Yeah, and he could do wheelies on the bikes too. And it's
Those dudes are crazy, bro. Some of
just-
those dudes can get those mountain bikes, bro, and do some gnarly freaking wheelies, bro.
That's crazy. The way that they clear gaps.
For sure.
And they're coming down from the mountain and then woo, they just clear gaps.
Yeah, you do
I'm
some-
like, holy shit. Or
yeah,
like
he's all hopping on
canyons.
shit, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
like,
Or
I'm
they
just
do
trying
like
to stay
straight
on.
rainbow jumps where they go like straight in the air and then come like straight back down. Like
That's what I meant, like by
Bicycle.
when you hit that peak
Yeah.
of your adrenaline, like
On a Walmart
holy
bike.
shit.
Yeah, bro, and a lot of it, the speed helps too. Like I started getting over some of my demons of jumping from riding next to dudes that were jumping, because you'd be coming out of the corner trying to be competitive with them on the corner, and you're like hauling ass, and I'm
And then
kind
they're
of
gonna
watching this
jump.
guy, like I'm trying to pass him, and then I look up and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm already committed to this jump, like I gotta just kind of send it, like, and so it kind of helps you kind of get used to it, riding with people that,
The competitive drive.
yeah, and
Or
I
just
mean,
seeing them.
seeing the way they do it and kind of the speed they're taking and some of that stuff helps a lot. But I mean, it's just like anything else, bro. There's like a whole technique to it, just like the
Both y'all
mountain
are,
bikes
like-
and everything. It's like it's kind of hard, bro. A lot of people try and ask me how to learn, and I honestly like am
Just get on it.
I'm so hesitant to give people
Yeah.
advice, bro, because
Oh, okay,
I've tried to
okay.
help people a couple times, and like they end up eating shit or fucking themselves up, and then I feel like super guilty. Like I wonder if like me telling him to try something is what caused him to
Yeah.
fuck himself up.
Everybody had that friend that was like, I had like a dirt bike too, and we're like, yo, si le sé. You know, they always tell you, I know how to ride one. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
And then they'll just leave it in first gear.
Whiskey
And you're like,
throttle
oh,
it.
what are you doing?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, they'll just. Yeah,
Are you
exactly.
speaking for yourself, Greg?
Sure.
You did. You
I'm pretty
remember
sure
that you broke
you
your.
people know like that.
What'd
That-
you
or they
break?
put it in second gear
No,
and they
you,
like, oh, fucking
you
flying
remember
off.
when you wiped out when we were young?
And I fractured my wrist.
You broke your wrist.
I fractured my
You fractured your wrist.
I
What's
didn't
the
even-
difference between break and fracture? Is fracture like a crack?
Break is like there's a crack in your bone. Fracture is just like I think it's like. out
It's
of
like a crack in your
alignment or
bone.
something. No, it's like out of alignment.
Okay.
Nah, I thought.
Yeah, I
think
don't know what the difference
Yeah,
is either.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh, I
good
don't know.
I went to the
question.
doctor
I just made it
because
up.
my ankle was bothering me, and then he's like, "Oh, you got an old fracture," and then I was like, "All right."
I don't know what
Cool.
that
I,
is.
I
Yeah.
like what you said though about not being able to teach. Let me tell you why. Because when you started off, you were talking about how you always have to be doing things. You always have to be on the go, and this high adrenaline thing kind of mellows you out because you're always so fucking
Yeah.
hyped. So you being at that state kind of puts you there. So you can't really tell these people how to do it because
They're different.
you're just
Yeah,
there
they're
at
just
that
different,
point,
yeah.
like all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like how Adderall or something like mellows.
It's
some
like
people
natural,
out.
yeah,
You're
pretty
like,
much.
what?
Yeah, it's like a natural, like mellowing thing. Yeah, bro. But honestly, like there's a beautiful side to stunting, bro. Like it's like super beautiful when you can clutch up the bike and like the motor's in harmony. Like you get this perfect feeling where the bike just feels like it's floating, bro. Like when you're in perfect balance
Jesus
point,
Christ.
like
makes me want to ride bikes.
yeah, like as cliche, like I'm telling you, like I'm not a cliche person, but as cliche as it sounds, like it's just like this part where like everything's in perfect harmony. Like the motor's at this perfect like RPM and the bike is at a perfect balance point, and it like everything feels so free, bro. It's like it's a
Fuck
super
yeah.
addicting feeling,
Fuck
like
yeah.
to be there.
You're passionate about it, man. That's badass.
And then like I mean, you know, when you got all these worries and like all this stuff going on, especially like running a business, I'm sure you know like part of it, like you always got stuff going on, and it's like it feels like you're constantly like got stuff on your mind. But when you're sitting there like stunting and you're standing on your bike and freaking focusing on this wheelie, like you're not thinking nothing else, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and you can't really think about anything else. You start to break concentration, and it's like it can be a life or death situation. You know what I mean? Like no matter how like slow we go, sometimes you can fall and really jack yourself up. So it's peaceful. Like as crazy as it seems, and people are like, dude, you're wild. Like on my side of things, it's more of a peaceful thing than it is wild.
I understand you because
When
I'm
I'm
the
up
same
there,
way.
it's like
yeah.
everything else, like all
Yeah.
these other worries in the back of my
Yeah.
mind, like they kind of go
Fuck.
away.
It's awesome.
So,
yeah.
What reminds me of just like mastering something. Like I know you're gonna always say that you got so much to learn, right? And that's what everyone should say. But like you know more than like the majority of people
Yeah.
that just exist and about this thing. And I think everyone who gets to a point where they understand what they're doing to like the degree that you understand this, they like get to a certain bliss for the art form. You know, just
yeah, and I think that's where I'm at. And I mean, and that's why it's kind of progressed. Like when I first met Kilgore, I was like, dude, I just want to be able to slow down a wheelie and like not do it 100 miles an hour. Because believe it or not, doing slower wheelies is way harder and requires way more skill than to do a fast wheelie. Like, so you see dudes post videos doing like 70 mile an hour wheelies, like, but it's not really a wheelie. It's like, but anyways.
It's just the momentum of the bike
Yeah, it's
taking
just,
it to.
exactly. And so we call them chasers. Like they're trying to chase this wheelie to get it to like a good spot. But like when you can really slow the wheelie down and get to like this balance point, it takes a lot of skill, throttle control, like brake control. Like it's a whole different step. But like I'm saying, once you start getting there, it was like I just wanted to be able to slow down the wheelie, and like that was my goal. But you get there, and like I said, it kind of like hides those demons, and everything cools down, and like you're focused on just that. But you start to get good at that, and you get to the point where that's kind of like second nature, and you start like you start to lose that like that harmony. It's like it becomes a new normal, in other words. So that's where you start to add stuff, like you stand here, you stand there, and you try and focus on these different things.
That's what I wanted to ask about.
And it kind of like builds up. But no, go ahead.
No, I want to ask about. I've seen some videos of people riding with like their girls or something, and they do some crazy shit. And I've ridden a Sportster. You know, it's like nothing. You can't do many tricks on it. But I would put people on the back, and it's like twice as hard, you know. So I can only imagine trying to get someone else to do some crazy shit on there.
Yeah, so it's a big. I've only done it a few times. Like they're called tandem wheelies, like like the tandem bicycles where people are like on it together. I guess that's where they get it from. But like it's a whole different kind of ball game. In a sense, the basics are the same. Like you got your brake, you got to try and find this balance point, and anything under balance point, the bike will try and stay straight. But you get to balance point, and any little movement that they do, like you feel it, bro. Like, so you got to really trust your partner, and you got to like have a partner that's really willing to like trust you in a sense, to not freak out. Because there's times where like, especially if they're sitting on the back, like a lot of people do tandems where they'll like sit the person in the front seat and like stand behind them or whatever, and like it's a little bit more security for that person because they like can feel you
like
behind them or whatever.
Kid. Yeah.
Yeah. But like if they're sitting on the back, like they feel like they're way back there. So like
my head's about to scrape. For
sure. So like there's people where like there's videos out there where dudes will like start in just the beginning of the wheelie, and the girl will freak out and let go, and she'll just fly off the bike because because she doesn't understand what's going on. Like she doesn't trust the dude.
Effort, That's like terrible communication.
Has he tried that with you? Has he tried doing the tandem with you?
She's like, fuck.
Nah, I gotta try it.
She's not about that life.
Maybe we'll see. I also have a huge conscience too, so it's like it's a lot of pressure for me. Like just to give somebody a ride on my bike, it's always been kind of a big deal for me. Like I'm trusting, like, do I trust myself with this person's life? Like I really do take that into consideration, and I feel like more people should. There's a lot of people
that's commendable because a lot of people don't give a fuck. Like llévatela.
Like I got a bike, like come for a ride, like trying to get brownie points, but don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean?
It'll be okay.
Like, bro, when I first got my bike, all my roommates wanted a ride, and I was like, no, I was like, yeah, sure, but I like struggled to like get it there. You know, I was like,
And you also have to have the confidence at the beginning. I've been there too, where it's like I have a bike and somebody, give me a ride. I'm like, yeah, I can take you, because you're trying to like think you know what you're talking about. Like you're not gonna sit there and puss out and be like, I've never done this before. Nah, you gotta ride the freaking wave. Like, all right, I got you, but nah, it's kind of scary.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot, and that's the craziest thing to me. I would go back to the beginning is like you ever seen those squirrel suiters? Like they're like parachutes.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm like, how do you like practice that? Like you get it wrong once and.
That's it.
Yeah, so like this kind of like high speed sport is very similar insofar as you're like, how do you even practice it? But it's super commendable.
Yeah, and it's you just got to start from like a basic, like a walk. You got to walk before you run. So I always tell people, like, you start like popping the clutch, you rev it, pop the clutch just a little bit though, and like you got to train your body to like. To just pick it up a little bit. Yeah, and it's because, like, especially if you've been riding for, like, a little while, like, your body is used to seeing things at a certain perspective. Like, you're used to seeing the handlebars here and the horizon of, like, the road or the mountain here.
So as soon as that changes.
So, like, once it changes, people go into that blackout phase super fast where they're like, fuck. So, like, that's why I tell people you got to start slow. Like, you got to get your body used to, like, the bike being at different angles, and
that's fucking for sure.
So like that's my advice to people, anybody learning how to stunt, start super slow, baby steps, and really just write down goals and say, you know what, I picked it up this high, like I'm gonna do 100 at this one until I'm 100% confident, like with the bike being 3 inches off the ground, and then I'll move to 5 or whatever it is. Like,
do you think do you ever post like your whenever you're practicing or like your attempts or everything, do you feel like that would let people know that it's not as easy as it looks? Because you guys make it look easier, like super fucking cool, but they don't see like
the hours
that you have to practice and like everything else. You
and
know
so
what I'm
I feel like I need to do more of that, and part of it is like I surrounded myself with guys that already knew how to stunt, so like
it doesn't really.
Well, so the thing is like I always felt kind of like a squid. Like you have these guys that are doing stuff that like I'll probably never ever be able to do, and so with the point that I'm at, to some of these guys I feel like I'm still a beginner, but like so times like like I feel like I'd kind of be like
No authority to teach.
yeah, but then again, I forget that there's a whole like different group out there that they just want to know how to do it. And
Yeah.
like whether they're gonna try it or not, they just want to know like how
I'm
do you
curious,
start to do
yeah.
it.
Because that's been go for it.
No, yeah, like you're probably not gonna see any of us trying to do it, but it's always interesting to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
I appreciate
I've
the
always
art.
done that, yeah.
So I think like I mean I have GoPros and stuff. I think I'll try and start doing more like point of view, like talking through some of my videos, see if like it'll interact with more people that don't know. And
That'd be super cool. I'd be
Yeah.
down to like kind of and be involved in that too.
yeah,
Because
for
I've never been interested in doing it myself ever.
Yeah.
But every time I see it, I'm like, damn, like
I have,
pretty
but
badass.
that's because I've ridden, you know. And then I was like, maybe I'll get a sports bike. And then my dad had one, and I rid it, and I was like, this is so uncomfortable compared to mine.
Yeah, to the cruisers, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big difference.
But you know, they're cool. Like I said, I like machines that go fast and do
Yeah.
cool things.
Yeah, so I mean, and then we modify the crap out of our bikes too, and they're like a stunt bike is like ridiculously more uncomfortable than like a regular street bike. Like we move the handlebars straight and we move them forward, and we have like these big gas tanks that we build to like have little lips so we can stand and sit in them. So when you're riding them just on twos, like you're all
That's super
stretched
cool.
out. No, it's not like when you're riding them on two wheels.
No,
It's,
making that is like.
oh
super
yeah,
cool.
it's a process for sure.
It's a bitch, I bet, but it's so cool.
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna build an oven to try it so we can get frames in there.
that would be
so you
freaking
can
dope.
powder
So we
coat
could powder coat.
them.
That'd be dope, bro.
a big ass oven.
Yeah,
for
like
the
10
frames?
by 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe a little bigger. I don't know. I got to see what my audience, my clientele audience is going to be. But
Yeah.
to see the dimensions of what I want to.
So like most bike frames, you could probably fit them in like honestly a 4x5 oven.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Because I'm thinking of buggies too.
Oh,
that's
so
why-
if you do buggies or even four-wheeler frames, you probably get a little bit. You probably
You
wanna
have a
go little
buggy
bit
right
bigger.
there.
Yeah, I got a buggy right there. We got a lot of stuff
There's
to
a lot
do.
of projects. I had Juan's.
Yeah. No, I've
body
been
shop.
I've been telling Brian we gotta link up more because I even want to get back on my bike, but I gotta switch. Like you said, the dual lever, I gotta switch it over to the right side,
Yeah.
and I already figured out how I'm gonna do the handle on this side. So I'll definitely be on my bike again. I don't know if I'll ever be on one of those, but
No, but in all honesty, bro, like I'm so like interested in trying to help you build that, bro. So like you
hell
better
yeah.
not start on that without me. Like I really want to sit there and
Yeah,
like
no,
try and
chill.
make this thing work together.
That's pretty cool.
And that's
Yeah.
become like a new thing for me is building bikes. Like I used to hate working on my bikes when I was riding dirt bikes. Like all I wanted to do was jump on them and ride. But I guess now maybe I'm just getting old. But like,
I feel that too.
but like I do genuinely find peace in sitting there and like making these machines work.
You-
It's
I-
fun.
Take
Yeah.
pride in it, you know, and
Yeah.
in the welding, the whatever part you take part in, you know.
Yeah. And it's weird. I get like emotional attachment to my vehicle too. So like I'll sit there, I'll buy a bike that I 100% all intention to fix it and sell it. And after putting like the elbow grease into it and like building it into like this nice looking bike, it's like I don't want to let it go. So
yeah, I feel that.
it's hard. Like, but nah, it's definitely something that I enjoy doing. Bikes is like a whole different.
That's what's up,
perspective
dude.
of life.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, it's been a great time here. I think we're really nearing to the
Yeah,
2-hour
for sure.
mark. So we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. But did anyone else have anything to say? I always kind of jump in and close these things out. You know?
No,
hey,
man.
O'Brien,
That's
it's
it.
been
Thank
a
you,
pleasure
Andy.
in having
Appreciate
you.
it.
It's like awesome watching on social media, and even a bigger pleasure having you here to have a conversation
Oh,
about
heck
the
yeah,
cool
man.
stuff you do.
Yeah, dude, I really appreciate you guys inviting me. Like it was cool to catch up with you again. Like you said, life gets in the way, so we haven't really had time to really.
Yeah, no, this is a great
Chop
outlet
it
for it, and also just to get some cool people out here. I see a big. I'm starting to see a big similarity in the people we're having over with, like that. Are passionate about their little niche, a lot of similarities in character.
You know what? I'm starting to realize that it's a lot of us have like that attention span that is really short, and we want to fucking do shit.
something.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of us that get together, and we just want to fucking get stuff done, and
Yeah.
that's why we were able to have a really good conversation. But yeah, I do appreciate you, Andy. for
O'Brien, you got
coming
any
out here.
plugs? You got
Yeah.
anything you want to plug? Any business? Oh shit! I
Your
always
YouTube
hit these.
channel?
So, yeah,
Business?
I actually don't have a YouTube channel, but like my personal
change
business
things.
is the Good Water Guy. I mean, there's a lot of dudes that kind of help me grow. I mean, they don't really sponsor me or anything, but like there's a lot of cage and companies. So you got like Curtis Cages and Homegrown Industries for titanium plates. Like we put titanium plates on the back of our bike, so when we scrape them, they like
Spark.
they spark all
Oh,
nice,
yeah,
white,
yeah.
and pretty. So
Yeah, I just saw it.
that dude, he gets down with the titanium plates. Always hooks it up. So
Right on.
Yeah, but I appreciate you guys.
Hey, hell yeah! All
Thank
right,
you.
catch y'all on the next one.
Peace.
It's all about money, my hood get smacked. Finally I'm ballin', I can't look back. In my trap phone ballin' like I'm Hardy with the rats. Never chase a hoe, I was looking my bag. Talk about money, my hood get smacked. Finally I'm ballin', I can't look back. In my trap phone ballin' like I'm Hardy with the rats. Never chase a hoe, I was looking my bag. Never ever chase a hoe, focus on your bag.